Hello and welcome to our program Where God Weeps, a program where we speak about the situation of the suffering church around the world. Today we are going to talk about the work of the church in Nigeria. Nigeria is roughly divided in half between Christians living mostly in the southern and central parts of the country and Muslims, concentrated mostly in the northern and southwestern regions. While the northern part of the country is dealing with persecution and violence against Christians, in the southern part, the challenges and difficulties are different. Extreme poverty, exploitation, environmental chaos, and endemic corruption. To talk more about the work that the church is doing in this part of Nigeria, it is my privilege to welcome to our program His Excellency Bishop Ernest Obodo, Auxiliary Bishop of Enugu. Your Excellency, welcome to our program.
Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, you are literally the youngest bishop in the world, probably, because literally a few days you were ordained. So this is a privilege that we have the first interview with you as an auxiliary bishop.
Thank you very much.
Was it a big surprise, this appointment, or it was something that you were expecting, or what was your reaction?
It was a great surprise to me because I never dreamt of becoming a bishop. I wanted to be a simple priest working among simple people. I was appointed the rector of a senior seminary in 2016, and 2 years after, I was appointed an auxiliary bishop. I was happy as the rector of the seminary, working with the youths, and they were challenging experience for me because they were intelligent people asking many questions and putting me into challenge. I was very happy.
A very rewarding work that you were doing.
Yeah, and all of a sudden I was appointed an auxiliary bishop. It was a big surprise to me because I never expected it.
What is your episcopal motto?
My episcopal motto, I took it from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 22, verse 27, I am here among you as one who serves.
That is a very clear message of how you see your mission as a bishop, to serve.
Yeah, because I feel that a bishop should not present himself as a king among the people, especially in my own region of the world where very many people are poor. I should see myself as a servant, as one who works among poor people to lift them up.
So let's talk about this situation that we were mentioning in our introduction, Your Excellency. This part of Nigeria is not dealing with the problems of the north, with Boko Haram, persecution, and those kind of calamities. Nevertheless, the situation in your region it's very challenging as well because of poverty. If I understand correctly, there is also a very serious problem with the environmental abuse that has been happening for decades and decades. So let's start with your pastoral work about the situation of poverty with your people.
Actually, you are very right when you say that the pastoral problem we face in southeastern part of Nigeria, from whom I come, is different from the problem in northern part of Nigeria. I come from Enugu Diocese, and this is located in the southeast region of Nigeria. Here we deal with problem of endemic corruption, kidnapping, and all these things are outcome of poverty. Youths are stranded, they have no jobs. Very many youths finish their secondary school, their university, they turn out for 10 years, 20 years, they have no job. If you're not connected with anybody in government, you can't find a job. Some of them are humble enough, they try to find job, create job for themselves. But many are not patient. That's why they take to armed robbery, to kidnapping, to other corrupt practices. So these are some of the dangers and problems that we face in Southeast. There is also the problem of environmental pollution. This started in the Niger Delta area where we have oil. The big oil companies, they take the oil and they spill it everywhere, and there's this gas flaring. They just pour the gas on the air, and people inhale gases, and most of them get sick along the line and die. Here in my own state, Enugu, we have coal deposits. The government was extracting coal until about some 10 years ago, and they stopped, and it is the clearing of the sites of these sites are not so wonderful. People suffer from this environmental pollution also. Yeah, it's a big challenge.
Your Excellency, unfortunately, Nigeria has or is in the category of one of the most corrupted countries in the world. Why is this, Your Excellency? We hear constantly from your brother bishops this problem. Why is it so embedded in government and society, corruption in Nigeria?
I would want to say that Nigeria is struggling with a problem of a struggle between an old system and a new system, between oligarchy that was there in the north and chieftaincy that was there in the south, kingdoms, and then a new expression of leadership in modern times where there is democracy. People study and they want free governments. Those who are in the old system want to hold on to the old system, and they wouldn't want to let go. And they amass a lot of wealth to themselves. They send their children abroad to America and to Europe to study, only for them to come back to continue to take over from their fathers.
Now we're talking about Nigerian citizens. We're not talking about foreigners.
I know. I'm saying that it is this struggle between the oligarchy, those who are in power in the old system. They want to continue in this line. And because of this struggle, people who are in power, they wouldn't want to let go. They want to do everything possible to keep on to power. And one of the ways to do that is to impoverish the masses, to make sure that the masses are impoverished, that they live in poverty. Because when they are in poverty, they listen to their plea. Whatever thing they do, they listen to it. They give them little money, peanuts, and they can take to crime. They can kill their fellow human beings. So I think this is one of the greatest problems of corruption, that those who are in power, they want to hold on to power, and they make sure that they use the poor masses to hold on to this power.
What can we do? By we, I mean the church, particularly you as bishop of one of the bishops of the country. Where is hope in this regard?
There is hope, and this hope lies on education. Education. A lot of people are poor because they are ignorant. They don't know what to do to save themselves. One of my vision of the Episcopal ministry is education. I want to spend my time educating the poor masses. And when you educate them, you liberate them. You give them power because they can think. They can help themselves. For instance, very soon Nigeria will go again to the polls to elect their leaders. Because the people are poor, the rich politicians spend money, give them little money, yes. $10, 10 euro, and they get this money, and they're happy, momentarily happy, and they they can snatch the ballot boxes and do other corrupt practices to bring back the same old corrupt politicians, and they continue to impoverish them. So I want to help join hands with my fellow bishops to educate them, to use my sermons, my homilies, and other means. We have Catholic education, we have schools, we have other means of educating the people. And we want to emphasize this so that we free the people, let them have the knowledge of what they ought to know, and then they can help themselves.
Now, definitely, you have the vocation of a teacher. You were in the seminary for many years, so I can see that you have that the drive to educate. But this is something very concrete, education, and to promote the social service, we might say. How do you balance this interest in education with the pastoral work that you have to attend?
Yeah, apart from education, I have also human promotion as one of my vision in the Episcopal ministry. And I know that we can create jobs, we can help people, especially the poor masses, to get work for themselves, little work for themselves, to get money for their families and help themselves. So when we promote the human beings, they are better off.
With the problems from the north, Your Excellency, are you facing the problem of internally displaced people in your area? Meaning, are you receiving people that are running away from the threats of the Fulanis and Boko Haram and all the violence happening up north?
If you understand clearly the internal workings of Nigeria as a polity, you see that I would say yes. Because, for instance, the Igbos, from where I come, they are spread everywhere, especially in the north. They are doing business, they are working, they're doing a lot of things. So when they are displaced, it is either they come home without a place to live, because some of them were born in the north, some of them lived all their time in the north. So when they are displaced, it's either they come here or they cross the Sahara. That's why you see migration in Europe and into America. Most of them, their shops are burned and their places are destroyed and they have no place to live. They either come home and they're helped by their relations, or they have no help. And then it increases the rate of crime in our society. Or some of them cross over the Sahara, many die in the process. Many get to Europe, and it brings more problem to Europe.
And talking about migration, Your Excellency, it is a real challenge for the families when you have the father or the mother going away and leaving these, we might say, broken families. What are the consequences of this?
Yeah, it's a very big challenge, pastoral challenge to us, because Africa has a very positive dimension of the family. The family is a unit that stays together. Actually, man and woman, when they want to get together, it's not just a personal choice of the two people, it's a choice of the whole family. And that is why families stay longer in Africa, stay longer together in Africa. But now, with migration, they are broken. The man travels to Europe, to America, sometimes he dies, leaving a widow and children. And the problem of poverty is recycled. It's a great problem, it's a great challenge. So we are also doing our little best by trying to educate and trying to help the people to get connected, not to wait for these corrupt politicians. They can do something. The church can also help them to establish, there is Caritas, to establish little farms, little things, little trades, and train them on crafts to help them to make clothing, shoes, and all that, and they start something to help themselves. So these are some of the means the church is using to help the families.
And speaking of family, Your Excellency, it's well known that nowadays around the world, Africa is standing for the traditional family values that are so important and so needed in other countries. How do you see this contribution of Nigeria and from Africa in general to the world?
The church, since ages, has been standing for the family and for true life values. And the church in Africa, the church in Nigeria, is not different. We support family, and we believe in the family. And we are doing, for me, I think it's a donation we are making to the general world, to the world, that we should stand fast on the traditional meaning of family, of man and wife and children. And every other thing opposed to the family, like homosexuality and other things, should be avoided. It's a modern problem, but after all said and done, you find out that the family, traditional values of the family support life. And this is the only thing we can do to continue the work of creation that God started.
And you see that stronghold of the family in Nigeria?
Yes. Actually, if you take a survey of the people, you find out that more than 75% will hold to this view of family, natural family ties.
I guess it's one of the reasons why you have so many vocations. I guess you're very familiar with the situation of vocations because you were working at a seminary. And in this regard, you are also providing priests to other parts of the world, particularly Europe. Is this, you might say, a blessing for the country, or it's becoming a difficulty now that priests rather go abroad than stay and serve the local church?
Yes, I think it is a blessing, not because priests move, but because they help the church wherever they are, whether they are at home or abroad. Of course, the Latin says, nemo that what don't have it. You cannot give that what you don't have. If in Europe, for instance, or America, you have just one child and 3 dogs, the dogs cannot be ordained priests. But in a family, for instance, in Ireland in the past, you have 8 children, 12 children. You have about 2 or 3 or more priests. And they work for their local churches, and they also work for the churches abroad. They were the people who brought us the gospel message. Now, it is the same in Africa and Nigeria. We have many priests. Right now, our seminaries are filled up. I'm a rector. Even up to now, I'm still a rector and an auxiliary bishop. We have more seminarians than the rooms we have. We don't have enough rooms.
How many seminarians you have in your seminary?
In my seminary, it's a seminary built for 150 seminarians, and it is a house of formation. We have 825 seminarians living in one place. So you can see it's very big. Last time we conducted interview to take in some seminarians, we needed just 10 seminarians, and there were 345 applications. What?
Really? So you can be very selective.
We placed the pass mark at 70 and we got 50 people. We raised it to 90 and we got 20 people. I had to use oral interview to just get 10, the best 10 out of 300.
Well, that's really a blessing. Do you have an idea of the general number of seminarians in the country?
There should be more than 6,000. In Nigeria. We have 18 seminaries in Nigeria. The Church of Eastern Nigeria has 3 major seminaries. Big Admiral Seminary, Enugu, Ikoro Ernest St. Joseph, Seat of Wisdom Seminary, Weri. And the seminarians of each diocese are divided into 3, and they're sent to these seminaries. In Enugu alone, we have 825 seminarians, and about 41 professors who are teaching them. And all the other seminaries are also filled to their brims. So we really have vocation.
It's really good that you share this information with us, Your Excellency, because sometimes we in the international media, we just get the bad side of the story. You know, all the bad news about corruption and the violence in the country. But this is a very bright side of Nigeria, all these vocations.
Yeah, yeah. It is not just about people. Some people take it as an escape from reality, that people go to the seminaries because they don't want to be poor. But I don't understand it that way, because there are also many people who want to go to the universities. Every year, the universities reject thousands of applications because they don't have, the places are full. The country is really very, very highly, densely populated, and it's increasing every day. And the youths, they want to study. Some of them want to be priests, and we accept them. We can take only those who can accommodate.
In your diocese of Enugu, do you still have areas that are for first evangelization, Your Excellency?
Yeah, there are actually very poor areas, and some of those areas, they have what we call African traditional religionists. Yeah, but our priests are working, they are sent to these places, and they're doing a lot of evangelization. When I was a parish priest, that was from 2001 to 2004, I was working in a very difficult area. Sometimes we would not be able to reach the place with a car. You have to use a car, sometimes reach there with a bicycle. Yeah, but the church established schools in these areas, helped them to establish some little farms and help them. So there's a lot of progression in those areas, but we still have them.
And you have to, you go there to baptize people for the first time, to catechize them.
Yes. Sometimes I go there for what we call mission trek. You come there and you stay for about 3 or 4 days, stay in the church. Maybe have a room attached to the church, and you're baptizing people. You are doing marriage and hearing confession and celebrating the mass at the end. So, but it's a very, really challenging and interesting experience.
Of course.
Yes.
And in these regions, Your Excellency, do you find this problem that sometimes happened of what has been called the witch children? When children are accused of being witches and then they are killed and lynched and all these terrible things. Do you have this phenomena in this area where you go to?
We don't have this phenomenon in Enugu diocese. We hear about it in some of the most southern areas, but I have not experienced that myself, and I have not heard about it in our own diocese of Enugu. But I read about these reports, and yeah, I think it is true.
It is a reality.
It is a reality.
And then again, as you've been saying, education is the solution to most of these problems.
Yes.
What can we do? What can the Universal Church do for your diocese in particular in Nigeria?
Yes, the Universal Church can help us, support us in educational programs and our human developmental programs. We have a wonderful working Caritas in our diocese. The Caritas has established a lot of farms. There are one of our noble priests, Monsignor Biorike, he started the Caritas in our diocese. He started a bishop's farm where we had farms, pigs, poultry, and a lot of other things that employ the people, give employment, and help the people to get money for their families. And then they also give loans, soft loans to poor people to start little trade, to start some farms for themselves and for their families. So the church is trying in this area. The Universal Church can help us by helping the Caritas in our diocese, and by this, we'll be able to extend this help to very poor and remote people, especially the area of education. For me, that is a key area. If we get it right, we have gotten everything right.
Your Excellency, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you very much.
And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us in another program of Where God Weeps. If you want to know more about the work that the church is doing in Nigeria, we encourage you to contact the information at the end of this program. Thank you, and God bless.